Hey everybody, it's Fernie. How you doing? I don't know what that was. A spasm? We can call it that. Sure. Anyway, hi everybody. I just wanted to check in. We all know that I am not good at challenges. I attempt them, but my life is my life. There's no way that I can do a blog a day. I can keep trying to make vlogs, and I will keep trying to make blogs. However, that is not my forte. That is not my thing. It's not my jam. My jam right now is just full on into my art. I really am I'm working on getting healthier. I'm working on trying not to eat the shit that I want to eat. Quarantine has been the worst thing for someone who recently is lost weight. I need to be able to get out of the house. Another thing that is difficult for a person who is in quarantine is not having a car of their own. Yeah, so why don't you have a car, Fernie? What happened to the Ford Edge? Yeah, well, I'll tell you what happened to the Edge. The Edge died, bitch. The Edge died. That transmission took a dump. Anywho, then I went out and I got this gorgeous Toyota Highlander. I was in love with it. It wasn't perfect, but I loved it. It had issues, and I still loved it. Still would have paid as much as I was willing to pay for that thing. But between the salesperson and the bank, there was like information that was not correct given to them, like from the salesperson, because I gave it to him, and then he gave me information that was incorrect. Caused a whole big thing. They took my call back. I said, fine. It was like a month and a half. It wasn't even, I was waiting for them to take the money out. And there was precedence. When I had pay the car people, I had to pay money in installments on the down payment. So he was like, okay, we'll take it out of your bank. Waiting, and they didn't take the money. So I had to call and harass them to take their money. Like, that's ridiculous. I gotta tell you to come take your money. And he had my bank account and everything. Then, when it came time for the bank to take their money, I'm waiting for them to take the money. And I call, and I'm like, I need to take that money. Well, then the bank said, well, you didn't give us our money. It just became such a nightmare trying to call them, trying to get them to talk to me. The people, like first my roommate called because I was on the phone, and my roommate called and they hung up. So then I call. They hung up. Call again. They hung up. They transferred. I'm sorry. Before the hang up, they transferred to a place to get a survey and hung up. 3 times. I was like, okay. So then we called the dealership back. He's like, oh, I'll take care of it. Doesn't. Okay, so fine. I wound up giving back the car. I said, fine. I don't want nothing to do with you. I think you people are shady. I think there was a lot going on here. Blah, 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 blah. Fine. Was about to do Carvana, but too many people. Like, I want to deal with one person and be done. I was dealing with one person and another person, and he's gone, and another person and another person. It was like, you get people's emails, and then they don't respond. I'm like, what the hell? So then I was like, all right, forget. I'm just going to go to a dealership. We went to Sansone Jr. When I tell you, first off, I came home with a Chevy Equinox. It was white. I fell in love with this thing immediately. I was like, there are other cars besides a Ford Edge. Oh my God. There are other cars besides a Toyota Highlander. Holy crap on a cracker. I can't believe it. So I took the Equinox, had it one night, Saturday. That night, the check engine light comes on. Fine. I call them and tell them, check engine light came on. Meanwhile, from the time I got it to the time, I actually brought it to them, because it was on a Saturday, I brought it to them on a Monday. In that time, you drive it around, still, check engine lights, no big deal. I went wherever I went, and at the time I was still doing rideshare, so I was driving, trying to make that money. I went to the Dollar General right up the street, not even a mile away. Don't you know, the car stalled on me. Now, it had stalled a couple of times throughout the time from the time I had it. But I thought it was like a thing with the car where I just wasn't giving it enough gas. But when I tell you where it stalled, I was just pulling out of a parking spot and hadn't yet even hit the gas. I was like, oh, okay, it's not me. It's not me. This is something wrong with the car. Boom. It had to go in for service. I went in. I took the day off, used my PTO for it, and gave them the car. Don't you know, they were like, well, you're going to have to let us keep the car. I said, okay. Took another day off the next day, thinking I'm going to get back the next day. Nope. Next day. Nope. Then it turns out there's something other than just the check engine light issue. There's a recall. Then they tell me, we got to send it to the actual manufacturer, the people who make it. We got to send it to them. Okay. I think it's like Thursday, maybe? Friday? Somewhere in there. It was Friday. I call up and I'm like, hi. I'm paying for a car now. I'm like a week into this sucker. What's the problem? When am I getting car back? The girl who is one of the people who sold me the car gives me attitude and was like, well, my car's been in the shop for a week. That ain't me. And I make money with the car on top of it. And I gotta pay you. How am I supposed to pay y'all? Like, we need to talk about that. She's like, well, you can return it if you want to. I mean, I know black girl speak. I speak black girl speak. Why? Because I am a black girl. She was being rude for no fucking reason. Had an attitude for no fucking reason. I didn't give her a reason to give me this toot. I wanted my car. Now, because you're giving me this toot, and I find out that it has not just a recall, it had recalls. I was like, and you're giving me attitude? I don't need this shit. So, gave back car. I wound up talking to another person, actually, and still wasn't really going to give back the car. But when I talked to that person, they were like, well, you can just give back the car. Oh, okay. I think what their deal was, they were just going to, sell it to somebody else that didn't know it had all these issues beforehand. Because I was going to try to bring that price. Because somebody else is going to pay all that money that they were trying to get from me. And it's not worth it, all these recalls it had. Still want I still want the Chevy Equinox though. It was a very nice car. So, sorry this vlog is really long, but that's how I